we're looking at transforming organizational culture through learning and development. So what that means is that all of us, I guess majority of us here, we have interest in L&D. So this is what we are looking at today. We want to look at what organizational culture is and understand its significance in achieving strategic goals. What are the roles that L&D play in shaping and transforming organizational culture? Then what are the strategies and tools we can use to align L&D initiatives with cultural transformation? And then the steps we can implement as L&D professionals to drive cultural change in our respective organizations. So understanding organizational culture. If I try to ask us that individually on the call, what do you understand by this when you say organizational culture? Each time you mention the word culture, coincidentally, my social studies teacher in elementary school did something that is that definition comes to me naturally. And what was that? Culture, there was a culture is the total way of life of people. So when we say total way of life, that means the way we talk, the way we dress, the way we eat, the kind of religion we believe in is everything total. So if we bring that down to our organization, our values, our norms, what we believe in, the way we treat our clients or customers, everything, the way we dress, the way we operate, even when we send emails, the way we talk to co-workers, this everything that is embedded in what I've just said is what our culture is all about. Even the way a manner writes emails. So I say, all culture is actually the backbone of company's identity. So how people see you, how people perceive your organization, it defines how employees interact with, like I just mentioned. Is it that people, when they talk, when a boss talks to a subordinate, he or she bullies the person, the way decisions are made, the way we achieve our objectives. So everything, all, like I said in that definition of in social studies, that is the total way of life, everything all encompassed. But now within the context of an organization, a company, so that is organizational culture. Now, in 2025 and beyond, changes are unprecedented, challenges that are happening every now and then. So, and because the way technologies are evolving by the day, shifting workforce demographics, was it yesterday or so? I was somebody posted something that the president of Nigeria just approved that the date of doctors working in the country now should move from 60 to 65. So meaning demographics of people working are changing by the day. Before, so it used to be 60. So that means now people that are between 61 and 65 that are still hale and healthy can work more. So the demographics are changing. A lot of things are changing. There is increased demand for flexibility and innovation. So in all this, now L&D has a role to actually drive the culture. I tell people that in L&D function, it's not for fun. It's, that's why we always also calculate return on investment. So if I'm training someone for any employee, there is a purpose for it. There is something that must be, that must, because of that training must achieve. And that's why I'm so sure, maybe some of the trainings before you have heard about training this assessment. So, but there is a purpose. It's not for fun. So in all this, and what we're talking to, we're saying that culture can actually, L&D can actually be done in such a way that our interventions are driven towards achieving the organizational culture, towards to elevating the culture to what we want to see. All right. Now, I say, what are the components of culture? We have values, we have norms, we have behaviors, we have artifacts. These, which values consist of belief system, our system of language. How do we speak to one another? How do we communicate to our clients? The communication, the practices that people share in common that can be used to define as a collective, define us as an organization. I went somewhere. We're trying to actually pitch for something, and so we want to use the or for a function. Then when we got there, we saw a picture and some other things. It was okay for the purpose of what we want to use the or for. Can we actually, these things that are here, can they be done this way? And somebody said in that place, I won't mention it, say, you cannot move Baba's picture. That is the culture, that you cannot move it. So as simple as things like that, they are component of our culture. Oh, here you cannot come late. Here you cannot call somebody by Mr. You must address by first name. So it's everything in total, the values, the organization that as we speak today in this part of the world, that they don't do sharp practices. That if they want to give you an invoice, if it's 100,000, pay it. So what are you known for? Everything. Now, what we are talking about here today is not that, okay, we are castigating any culture, but what we are saying is that if this is where the organization wants to go, then L&D must actually be focused towards helping the organization to go that direction, to arrive at the destination. All right. Now, I came across this picture from AIHR. Now, if you look at the base, we have change and learning. So meaning this picture is actually telling us that for us to see results, learning and development function has a role to play, because that is what at the base. So the change that you want to show, you must align your learning intervention towards those results you want to see. As an example, let me drive that home. Where I work, we have a service center because we're into appliances. And a manager actually reported a case to me about a staff, and in the manager's face, actually sanctioned that person, because the person actually, what he did was what I can address as a service failure, and with respect to a client. Now, when I called the person for interrogation or whatever I should call it anyway, what I saw was that there was a gap, a learning gap for the person. And what I now did was actually did a session on service excellence for the entire team in that department. And when I did that training, what it now did was that there is a veil upon the eyes of the people, were unveiled, and people were able to see, oh, this is why this happened. But in the manager's face, he felt, oh, I should issue a query or a sanction. So learning must be towards such that the result you want to see. And you will see that next to that is what? Leadership behavior. So leadership is everything in culture. There's nothing you want to drive as a change agent or as an HR or as an L&D person without leadership buy-in. So if you are training them towards a particular direction, and leadership is actually behaving in contrary to those learning, then there is a misalignment. So, and then when we now talk about management system, we're talking about our policies, our processes must be in line towards the result we want to see. And that's why you say that, you say that people change here. That's between when you begin to actually train, when you begin to see something happen. I've seen someone that's joined an organization one day one, and day two, the person has left. Okay, the person joined day one because when during the onboarding, the person saw that, oh, this is not the direction I'm seeing, and by day two, the person she fled. So after people change, then you now see that after the training, then the culture changes start after leadership has exhibited. You can see it's above leadership. So it is critical while you are developing your L&D interventions to actually seek leadership buy-in. Very, very germane. Because if you have paid the price, you have done everything that needs to be done, and leadership is actually not in alignment, you will see that the change you want to see will not be evident. And then in that order, then the change, the work changes there, and then you begin to see results, which is kind of the value that we exhibit. All right. So now I want to talk about the 4 types of company culture that you see. There's what we call the plan culture. There's what we call hardocracy culture, and there's what we call market structure and hierarchy program culture. As said, I think some of them are a bit straightforward. The clan, when you say clan, that word is actually synonymous with family culture. So what means that in this kind of environment, you see that people behave like family. There is a strong focus on interpersonal relationships, employee development, and organization with this kind of culture actually they prioritize collaboration. They collaborate. They celebrate. They are so much interested in employee engagement and a sense of belonging. And so it's very rare you will see in this kind of culture that people will talk to people anyhow. They will talk down because relationship actually matters in this kind of culture. The next one is adocracy. Now, this is actually a culture whereby people actually are passionate about innovation, about creativity. So what this culture means is that people are allowed to, you can make mistakes because you are trying to, so okay, to see, oh, is there any way we can do this better? There's room for risk taking. Employees are, and they are encouraged to experiment and explore new ideas. So that's actually one kind of culture. The market culture is actually result driven, result oriented approach, and everything is about performance. Oh, you have to get this done. Oh, there's no room for you to make mistake. You just result, 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 and the focus is on achieving goals, on meeting targets, and outperforming competitors. That's what that kind of culture is all about. And that's such a culture that can be fast paced because if you're not strong, you might not be able to work there because everything's about results. There's no room for laxity. There's no room. Then the hierarchy culture, that one is straightforward, where we know, okay, there's chain of command. This is the person who reports to this. Oh, this is person that. So the value stability, there is order, there is control in such culture. Now, let me just save a few characteristics of this culture. In advocacy that I mentioned, that is okay, it's about creativity, it's about innovation. They look about the future. Okay, what do we need to do? Okay, if you can move to this, okay, what can we do? So they are transformational because okay, this is where we are. Oh, okay, this is where we want to get to. What can we get to? How can we innovate? What can we create to help us to? They actually undo this continuity. Let's change what we are doing. Okay, there's so much of risk taking in that thing. There's freedom of thought, there's freedom of expression. You are free to actually act. So you can break through as far as you are trying to actually see, okay, we can do things better. Right? So it's all about experimentation, learning from mistakes, failing fast. So these are actually peculiar to when you see like people that have entrepreneurial mindset and visionaries. So, and the environment where you see these are like tech startups, destructive organizations like Uber, Airbnb. So that's just characteristics of advocacy. For the clan culture, like I said earlier, it's a family life setting where people like to bond. We don't want to offend someone. You want to work together as a team. People matter. You look about relationships. So for changes to happen there, it takes a while because people actually, I don't want to use the word condone necessarily, but they try to manage relationships. Okay, we don't want to bond bridges. You don't want people to feel bad. So there's commitment, there's cohesion, there's engagement, and there's human development as well. It's in this kind of setting that you see, okay, we have mentors, we have coaches, you also see line managers, okay, this is where you do it. So there is people don't want to actually, they don't like conflict in this kind of culture. So now, let me sound one of them is that it is also very possible for us as an organization because of the age we live in to actually infuse this all this culture together because we want to be result driven, yet we still want to actually be like family where we work. So we don't want to conflict. If there are issues, we want to actually sort it out amicably without actually making the other person offended, as it were. And this is common in healthcare, education. You see that where people actually, maybe because of what they do, healthcare, you tend to people, education, you building people in terms of their career. So, and then in not-for-profit. So this is actually very common, this environment. So the hierarchy. Now, they believe in, okay, you have to get it, you do things right. You want to eliminate error. So because of that, so the changes are incremental. It can't be as drastic as it is in the first or the fourth one. They pay attention to details. They're careful. They are the precision is high, it's very high, because there is incremental changes. So that means there is some level of consistency, and reliability, and they have well-informed experts. The processes and efficient, they have better processes and efficiency routine that they follow. So these people, and you see that in this kind of culture, you see more of people that are like organizers, people like administrators, people like I can call like program managers, because they are conservative, they are cautious, they are logical, they love to solve problems. This is common in military. And in military, and that's why you cannot make, you don't want to make mistake, because anything that you do, a mistake you make can be hazardous, it can lead to death. So in banking as well, you don't want to make mistake that will lead to error, or fraud or whatever. Transportation, you don't want to be driving and then you make a mistake and then your lives are lost. So these are the kind of structure that where you see that culture. And the last but not the least, what we call the market culture. So market is also, this one is also fast paced. They do things fast, they compete, they move fast, they are playing to win, they want to actually outpace the competitors. They are so focused on the customers, such that at times they might not be conscious of internal customers, and because it's fierce, they tend to maybe they can attack competitors. Shareholder values are very germane to them, or what the shareholders are getting. So there is no room for laxity. You want to get results, you want to get it done as quickly as possible. The goals must be achieved, whatever comes their way. And so, as we're saying all this, you can begin to think in your mind, okay, in where I am, what kind of culture is it? Oh, is it a blend? Is it, this looks like what we are? So, or want to, and in then you can see that at times you see acquisition happens. They outsource some processes because they want to be lean, and they are so keen on results, fast, solve problems. So their leaders are hard driving. Some of us can say, oh, they are slave drivers, because they want to actually get the result done ASAP. Okay, all right. And this is actually common in consultancy. As consultants, you don't want to go to your client saying, oh, this is why this cannot be done, so, because you want to get it done, because you want to repeat business. So in manufacturing as well, because you want to meet your number, you want to meet your target. If the people on the factory that cannot produce as expected, that is not enough for the marketer to sell. And then in sales and marketing services. So of course, this is market culture, so they should be there anyway. So these are just the kind of culture that you see in different workplace environments. Now, what are the modern roles that L&D play? Remember, we are saying all this because we are talking to L&D professionals. What are the modern roles that we play? Now, number one, I call this agile creator. Agility means that we must be nimble, we must be responsive to things, because the rate at which technology is changing is actually fast-paced, and we must actually respond that way. You can't be an L&D person and think that, oh, so all our trainings now must be virtual. All our training now must be in class. So you have to think of, okay, oh, must it be blended? There are some people that want to take trainings in chunks, in bites. So you actually must be able to create your interventions with agility. And because the workplace environment, like in LHR, I said that, okay, there is a lot of generation coming together now. The baby boomers are not living yet, because you can see that people are they are extending their stay. And so because of that, you must actually be agile to actually create intervention to attend to everybody within your workforce. As employees and leaders are now used to consumerized experience with immediate access to information. So insight and to information, to insight, to learning content, you must know all this. So then you must be agile, because things are happening rapidly. So you must be able to actually make sure that, okay, your interventions are consider all options. And vis-a-vis is actually futuristic, because it's taking it to where we want to see. So I said earlier that learning interventions are not for fun. They are for purpose. So as you are being agile, you must also bear in mind that, okay, what are the gaps that you want to bridge with this? So you must be considerate of that. Now, another role, they are learning experience expert and advocate. Prior to now, we used to have all our trainings. In the past used to be, when people are saying trainings, you have to go into a class and have training. But then things started changing. Now we have hybrid, we have virtual, we have blended. So as L&D practitioners, we must be learning experience experts. Have you looked at it that, okay, the algorithm we on, maybe let's say on a Facebook or on YouTube, that if you watch a particular video, before you see, you are seeing videos similar to what you have watched coming to your timeline. So that is what we are talking about here. That we must be learning experiences. Even though as a L&D person, you're not the programmer that will do that, but you must be able to actually work with with tech team to actually ensuring that learning content and delivery impact employee knowledge and skill acquisition requirement. And this calls for development. So you must be an advocate for learning experience, that you cannot take it away now. So if you are building an LMS for your organization, you have to actually think of all these things. You have to be a learning experience expert. Another role that we do is that we are curators. With digital media that's all over the place now, and learning technology, people now take, learnings take different forms. It can be as small as small content, as putting a training like this to like what we are having now, or in class, whatever. So you must be able to actually curate based on your needs. It's very germane. Now, so what that's actually saying is that you also actually understand the learning needs of your workforce. If you have an aging workforce, that the average age of your workforce is quickly they are aging, or you have millennials, you have Gen Z, or whatever you have. So you must actually know. And if you have a blend of them, that okay, so for this set of people, what do we need? What do they need for them to be able to achieve our organizational goals and objectives? So you must curate. So you don't do one size fits it all. You must actually understand your people very well. All right. Now, another role that L&D practitioners actually has, that we must be technology partner. You can imagine if I'm an L&D and so today now I say, okay, we are using Zoom, and you cannot actually do that. Or maybe they'll say, oh, sorry, the platform will be using WebEx. You're asking as an L&D, what is WebEx? Or okay, or they say it's Teams. So you must actually be able to adopt technology. It has gotten that to that, and we cannot afford not to. Contemporary L&D requires the use of technology to design and deliver learning and skill development to the employee based efficiently and effectively. So you must understand that you cannot separate technology from L&D. In fact, you cannot separate technology from virtually everything in the world today, but much more for our role as L&D professionals. So you must understand that, I could recall maybe COVID made Zoom more popular. And because of that, I'm so sure when I said WebEx, I'm not going to put anybody on the spot. It's very possible not everybody knows WebEx. I know some people will know Teams, will know Meet, but there are a couple of them. So the more you, as an L&D professional, if you hear something, research about it, because you can never tell. And it might be something that it might be that technology that will actually suit your that will be solution to your problem. So you must understand technology. You must be able to leverage your needs to anchor your program, to divide your program, and you must understand, like when I talk about, okay, if you have to build an LMS, you must know, okay, what is required, what are the requirements that you must do. So it is critical that as L&D professional, we must be technology partner, program manager. In like I said earlier, that adult education, we have come with in adult education, we come with baggage. Baggage means that what we already know. So because of that, L&D demand that professional must create processes and programs to deliver formal, informal, and blended learning. Because when you go to it, what we call pedagogy, that the children, it's easier because they are open. In most of their classes, they are encountering those things for the first time. They have no idea. And if you're a parent, you understand this better. When by adventure you want to teach your child something, and the child comes to you and say, Daddy, auntie said, oh, mommy, uncle said, because something has been, because when the uncle said that thing, their minds were open. Nothing was there. But in this instance that we are dealing with adults and pedagogy, we must understand that the people we are dealing with, they come with baggage. They have some knowledge. For the age they are in, they've actually acquired something for that age. So now you must understand how to tailor what you're doing to them in such a way that, okay, is this intervention I want to deliver, should it be done formally? Should it be done informally? Or should it be a blended approach? You know, I mentioned earlier the other time that, okay, somebody felt, okay, he did something, and I felt, okay, the solution to this will be to have an in-class and where everybody will actually contribute to some of those things. So as L&D, we are now program managers. We are analytical consumers and decision makers. Okay? So what that means is that when we do, sorry, I think there's a problem with my slide there. When we do what we call it now, needs assessment, we must be able to analyze, okay, what are the key areas that we want to cover? What are how do we go about it? So because of our training assessment that we have done, what are the things that we actually were able to catch out of it? And what approach you want to use that? What are the model of delivery? What are the choice of the facilitator? So we analyze things. And then post training, you now look at, okay, before the training, this is the gaps. You also do the analysis again. Okay, has the gap been bridged or there is no value for money? Now, why we are here today is, why is L&D a catalyst for cultural transformation? Now, and I said, number one, L&D set the tone. How? In any organization, when people join any organization, the first thing you want to do, you want to onboard them, and which is an HR function. Though an HR function, but it is actually an L&D, because L&D is a sub-function under HR. So I mentioned earlier that I've seen a situation where someone joined an organization and within 48 hours, the person left. I said, cool, this is not so. What you put in your onboarding program can actually, it's actually set the tone for the people to say, okay, do I actually want to actually work in this organization? So people they use your onboarding as a lens to actually see your organization through. So how do we actually how do you set up the program for onboarding? And that's what I'm trying to say. That it's actually very germane for people to actually see the organization. Secondly, behavior exploration. Do we use our training interventions, our airline to actually see the behavior that we want to see? If you look at that AIHR picture I shared the other time, you can see where the training and the changes is below. So it's actually at the base. So do we actually coin our interventions actually to exhibit to the behaviors we want to see? Or the behavior that we actually see, there's no an alignment with leadership. We must ensure that there is an alignment with our training and the behavior we want to see as an organization. Skill building. We require skills as organizations to actually develop to achieve our goals and objectives. And that is why in the HR function, you must hire right to make sure that you hire people with the right skill set to actually to do the job. But in the event that, okay, maybe because of technology change or whatsoever, maybe new processes, whatever, and there's a gap, your L&D function must actually be a bridge builder between where the employees or the staffs are and where you want them to be. So, and that is why, so it's a catalyst for transformation. You know, transformation means that in elementary biology, that we say we have lava, pupae, I don't know, before you go to whatever it is, whether it's butterfly you are considering. So you must ensure that the skills and that your L&D provisions are given actually bridge the gaps. So skill building. And I'll talk about values in reinforcement. What are the values my organization, your organization want to be known for? We must ensure that our provision, our intervention are actually leading with that. If you now, let me say something and this is that all these points I'm making, it's not that one is above the other. They are actually intertwined. And you cannot be, okay, teaching on values, or when people come in, okay, these are values on paper or in a classroom setting, whatever, and what you are exhibiting day to day, there's no alignment. So you must ensure that your interventions are values, are reinforcing the values of your organization. The learning culture. You know, we've talked about the learning organization that, okay, people learn every day, or the organization is committed to people's learning, we're committed to upskilling people. So do we actually make people say, we have a learning culture or otherwise? So this is very germane, and that is why this is the way we can actually be a catalyst to cultural transformation. Rather. When people say, oh, that's a learning organization, so that means the L&D function is actually seen to actually is at the forefront of that. They see that, okay, they actually driving that. Oh, these are the values that the organizations are known for. The L&D must be advocate of that. Skills building, bridging the gap between that, we must do that. So I will talk briefly on two models that we can actually use as L&D professionals to bring about this change, this cultural transformation we want to see. There are so many change models, change management models that are applicable, that are out there, but I will just talk on two for the purpose of this session. And the first one I'm talking about is ATCA model, which is about awareness, desire, knowledge, ability, and reinforcement. Now, we say awareness. If we are coming up with any L&D intervention that, okay, because these are our goals and objectives, we want to do A, B, C, D, but we must actually let people be aware. And that's what awareness is talking about. Because if they are not aware of why we want to do what, there is a tendency, being human being, remember I said they're adults, for you to meet restriction, to meet brick wall that people want to actually, you don't want to align. So you must, so in another place, you can call this, you want to actually do what we call the champion that will actually go in what you want to do, so that people that will actually help, okay, to move it forward, that, okay, this is where we are going. So the awareness is critical for any change you want to implement. So, before our core values used to be care, now we want to move, our core values now is changing. We are doing what passion and peace, this level. So you must create the awareness for whatever you want to do. Now, the next level after awareness is desire. The fact that they know is not enough. That they are aware does not mean that they will respond. Now, you have to make sure you want to put desire in the heart, on the mind of everyone. And that's why you have to actually, that's why the change agent is actually important. That, okay, these are people that you want to drive, okay, so that they will be like your co-sponsor of the change. So you must create desire for people to understand why we want to do what. Now, there are knowledge required for where we want to get to, from where we are. Now, so those knowledge must actually be, you must put it forward. If it requires, for example, that, because we are changing technology from technology, or maybe this process we've been doing it manually. Now we are using a kind of technology, or maybe our production line with it used to be mechanical, but now we actually want to automate the line. So the requisite knowledge that will bridge the gap must be provided. It must be given to people. So you must train them. That's what knowledge is talking about, to actually understand for the gap. And then the ability how to do it. Okay, so what they also need, similar to knowledge, but what what you're saying is that they must actually be able to now, when you have bridge the gap in knowledge, there is a tendency for you now to give room for people to actually to learn. It's like somebody that has gone, for example, let's say swimming pool, that you are learning how to swim. Now, you use an aid to float on water, and so you are being trained. When the aid is being removed, there is a likelihood for fear to set. So you must give room for people to learn. So that stage must be there. And then reinforcement is all about, you want to be consistent. You want what the change you're talking about, you want to be repetitive. So that means there must be processes. If need be, there must be policies for people that will guide people that, okay, for so function, this is like the SOP that people will follow, that, okay, that will make sure that that thing is continuous. That even if the people you have trained, peradventure they leave the system, whoever comes in, because the process has been documented, it's reinforced, because they have guidelines that will take them to be able to do so. So that's what outcome model is all about. Now, the second model I want to talk about is this McKinsey 7S framework. It's also out there. Now, in this, like as you can see, it has two sides. They have the what they call the hard S, and they have the soft S. So on the hard S, we have the strategy, we have the structure, we have the systems. While the soft side, we have skills, staffs, and style. But the shared values is actually in between the two. And you can see that it's like a web where everything is actually intertwined. Now, by strategy, we are talking about, we must have definite plan that, okay, as an organization, this is where we are going. This is what strategy is talking about. So that is well detailed. By year 2020, 2030, we want to do so and so and so, and you break it down. That, okay, so you have plan. That's what the strategy arm of this is talking about. The structure is talking about the chain of command, the hierarchy within the system. Okay, so this is that. So that is what the structure is actually talking about. And the last one on the hard side is the systems. The system has to do with something like the day-to-day operations. Okay, these are the policies, these are the processes, these are the what we do, that we can say, okay, when you want to actually move water from A to B, so you take it. So it details how things are done. That's what the system is talking about. And the skills is looking at, okay, for the change you want to see, what are those, like what I said in the beginning, what are the things that are required? What are the knowledge that you need for us to get there? So you actually need to identify all these things and table it. Now, the style is talking about the leadership style within the environment. That, okay, what kind of leadership you want to exhibit? Is it laissez-faire? Is it servant leader? Is it autocratic? Is it democratic? Is it whatever? So, or do we actually want to, okay, because of the peculiar nature of our ambition as an organization, or want to do a blend of X, Y, Z? So, what kind of style that we want to see? And then we have the staff. What kind of people, employees do we need? What kind of, in terms of workforce, what kind of, what is the requirement for what kind of people do we need to drive our goals and objectives? And then now centrally, in between all these, we have what we call the shared values. Okay, so because so many systems, so many things are involved in this model, you can see about 7S, it is believed to be long-term. So it's not a model I can use for something that's actually immediate. And so, which is also, some see it as a benefit, some see it as a demerit, because okay, if it's long term, so you can plan properly. But in a situation where you actually want to the change you want to adopt it needs to be very fast, then this cannot be considered, because it's long term based. So if any organization want to adopt this, and what is done is that the RS, which is the strategy, the structure, the systems, are actually evaluated. We want to look at, okay, our strategy that we have put in place, will it take us to where we want to be, to our vision? The structure, the kind of structure we run in terms of hierarchy, is it the kind that actually lead us to the vision we see? The kind of policies, processes we see, that's in terms of systems, will lead us. So the first thing is to actually analyze those three. When that is done, and then you have your what you get, then you put it at one side. Then the next is for you to, okay, based on the outcome of those things, you want to see management buying. And when you see management buying into that, then the next thing is that, okay, you now create interventions for the outcome of those of the assessment that you did based on the three, and then you implement. That's what McKinsey 7S framework talks about. So as an L&D practitioners, these are things we can actually have at the back of our mind when we are curating interventions for the purpose of bringing about change in the culture we want to see within our respective organizations. Now, what strategies do we think we can adopt for cultural transformation, for cultural change as L&D professionals? Now, number one, we can always conduct cultural assessment gaps to actually identify areas of improvement. There is an instrument called Organizational Cultural Assessment Instrument. This instrument actually assesses each aspect of an organizational culture. Number one, it looks at the dominant characteristics within the organization. Two, it looks at organizational leadership. That, okay, what can we see in the leadership within the organization? In terms of, because you are assessing the culture. Number three, you want to actually it looks at management of employees. How are people treated? What do they say? What mindset the employee has about the organization? And then you want to look at the next is the organizational glue, which is like the bond within the organization. How is it like? Another aspect that it measures is look at the strategic emphasis. And then lastly, it looks at the criteria of success. So that instrument is something that's very handy that us as L&D professional, we must actually look at when we want to actually, that we can actually adopt when we want to transform our culture. So it will give us insight to how we are currently. Remember, L&D is all about needs assessment before you provide interventions. So that will help us to actually understand the current culture very well, because when we look at strategic emphasis, we look at criteria for success within the organization, look at what's our bond, what's the organizational leadership, what are the characteristics that are dominant within them. So it will actually open it up for us. Okay. Then to design tailored learning interventions, it must always be tailored. If it's not tailored, then it's something else. So so you can see that when you do the assessment, you must actually design. Then leverage technology to scale initiatives. Gone are the days that, okay, you have to actually carry paper all about. Gone are the days that, okay, training must always happen in a class. Gone were the days that you can say, oh, you have to send somebody somewhere for training to happen. So leverage technology. And you can't oversay this, because the people we are dealing with, they are adult learners. So storytelling is the best. You must actually come with examples, tell stories, let there be learning around games. It makes it easier for them to comprehend. So having said this, because I was actually mindful of time, the change we desire to see in our respective organizations can be plugged through our L&D if we have done the needful by making sure that our interventions are tailor-made, by making sure that we actually do what they call in business analysis, they call it requirement gathering. That because you want to provide an intervention, what are the requirements that you must do? And this is actually common when requirement gathering is common when in a software environment. You want to build a software for any purpose. You go with your business analyst that will do requirement gathering. Okay, what? Ask questions, and such that the interventions should tailor to it. If we are able to use those tools properly and effectively, we will see the change that we desire. Thank you.